Lord, as we look into your things that have to do with your Bible, give us discernment, Lord. I pray your Spirit upon our ears. Not to get discouraged when we hear so many terrible things happening in the news, but we just have hope that just means you're coming sooner. All the signs of your turn are there. We pray you to now speak to us. We are doing a little bit of scripture in this prophecy update, so we pray you bless those scriptures. Bless our ears as we hear some of the bad news out there that's going on, Lord. This is my prophecy news update for August 2016. We're going to start with July 22nd. July 22nd. These are headlines I'm reading, by the way. Unmistakable signs of the Messiah coming, from WND News. Without setting dates, it is still safe to say that the world is very close to witnessing the return of Yeshua. That's Jesus' Aramaic name. Just as he promised. July 24th. A virulent superbug recently made its way to U.S. soil that may be a harbinger of untreatable diseases to come. Now remember, Jesus said plagues are a sign of his return in Luke 21:11. He said there will be famines and plagues in many lands. Now when he said famines, it makes me think of how many these fires have been going on. Famines caused by drought also lead to fires. As of May this year, the U.S. was 46% above average in the acres that have been burned by fires. That ought to tell you about famine, drought. On that same day, July 24th, a bomb attack in Kabul, and I believe that's in Iraq, that's in Afghanistan, killed at least 80 people and wounded more than 200 others during a peaceful, so-called, quote-unquote, peaceful protest rally. July 24th, Turkish authorities have arrested and may execute more than 13,000 people believed to be tied to the coup attempt and have gutted the country's civil services sector, suspending over 60,000 educators, judges, and police. July 25th. 19 disabled people were feared dead, and 45 people were injured after an attack by a knife-wielding man at a facility for the disabled in Japan. Can you guys imagine that? 45 people. One guy with a knife. Talk about gun control. This guy, they need knife control there. 19 disabled people feared dead and 45 injured by one man. July 25th. A team of Russian scientists has successfully tested the country's first railgun, which relies on electromagnetic forces rather than explosives or propellant. See, they got to do everything we do. It's like an arms race, right? We recently have got to the point where we can almost put one on destroyers. That saves them millions of dollars because they don't have to keep putting big shells in these guns. Electromagnetic pellets shoot out, and it saves them money, and it only costs a mere fraction of what it costs to use regular artillery. So now Russia's working on getting that ready too. Another headline that day. At least 2 people were killed and more than a dozen others, many of them teenagers, were wounded in a shooting early Monday outside a Florida nightclub. And this is less than 2 months after the terror attack that killed more than 50 people in Orlando. So you got another one there. Same day. The U.S. government increased aid to Arab countries, but not to Israel. You guys hear that? They increased aid to the Arabs, but not to Israel. God said in Genesis 12:3, I will bless those who bless you, talking to the Israelites, and I will curse him who curses you. That makes me worry about the United States. We're cursing Israel, we may be cursed. Look around on the news report. It sounds like we're cursed already. July 28th, but we know Jesus is coming soon, so don't lose heart. Iran threatens to shut off the Strait of Hormuz. You guys familiar with the Strait of Hormuz? That's where almost all the oil goes to all the different countries that goes through there. So if they shut off that Strait of Hormuz, it shuts off the world's oil supply, basically. So the top army commander in Iran warns enemies to avoid confrontation with the Islamic Republic or risk closure of strategic channel. That could cause World War III right there. July 28th. Now, ISIS has successfully committed its first act of war on European Christianity itself by taking hostages in a church in France, and unfortunately they slit an old priest's throat. I think he's like 80 years old, and they slit his throat. This is terrible. July 29th. China schedules military drills with Russia in the South China Sea. July 31st. Britain cannot be fully protected against terrorism, and an attack similar to those recently seen in mainland Europe is a question of when, not if, London's police chief said on Sunday. An imam has told his congregation in Wales that war is approaching and Islam allows them to take women as slaves and rape them. That's how they're recruiting people, by telling them they can take these women and rape them. August 2nd, a Detroit man who allegedly bought high-grade explosives from an undercover agent after he amassed an arsenal of weapons and talking about carrying out an attack was charged Monday following an FBI counterterrorism investigation. And somebody said he had bazookas and grenades and all kinds of stuff. God, thank God they caught him. Or there would have been another mass shooting. August 3rd. So I got some good news, right? They caught him before he could do it that time. The U.S. government secretly funneled $400 million in cash to the Iranians back in January, coinciding with the release of 4 American prisoners being held by the Iranians, defying the claim that the U.S. does not negotiate with terrorists. At least we didn't used to, as reported by Wall Street Journal. Okay, August 3rd. Islamic State group is targeting the U.S. Army, and they put out a hit list of 700 soldiers by name, and ordering its terrorist militia to kill the dogs, they called them. God have mercy on that. Also, another headline, North Korea launches a missile into the ocean. Another headline, London deploys 600 extra police following the terror attacks across Europe. August 5th, Russian President Vladimir Putin is assembling a secret fleet of unstoppable super submarines which could topple NATO and plunge the world into war. Another that same day. Russian troops build up along the Ukrainian border raises war fears. What did Jesus say? There would be wars and rumors of wars. These are rumors of wars here. Another one. China is ready to become the second country after the U.S. to deploy a missile shield. So you see Russia and China, they're in an arms race with us. Every time we do something, not that long after you hear on the news that they're getting ready to do the same thing. So we're preparing for the last final battle on earth. One of the last final battles anyway. August 6th. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has corrected Obama's claim, saying that Israel is more worried about the Iran deal than ever. Okay, the next 2 headlines that we're going to cover positively fit with end times prophecies. That's why I'm going to put a pre-preface on that. Listen to these closely because it's going to match some prophecy I'm going to talk about here. On August 9th, Russia and Turkey moved towards restoring full trade and economic relations on Tuesday when Russian President Putin met his visiting counterpart Erdogan of Turkey at a time when both countries have strained ties with the West. Now, on August 16th, Russia's defense ministry says that it has used a base in western Iran to carry out airstrikes in Syria. Now we're going to go to some scripture that goes along with this. Ezekiel 38 in the Old Testament, if you have a Bible. Verse 1, this is another message that came to me, says Ezekiel, from the Lord. Verse 2, Son of man, turn and face Gog. And Gog is translated, that means a powerful leader. Of the land of Magog, translated Scythia in Greek. And that's in the area of modern-day Russia. The prince who rules over the nations of Meshech and Tubal. Now Meshech and Tubal are in and around the area of Turkey. That's why I'm talking about this scriptures, because it fits with what's going on in today's headlines. And prophesy against him. Verse 3, give him this message from the sovereign Lord, Gog. I am your enemy. I will turn you around and put hooks in your jaws and lead you out with your whole army, your horses and charioteers in full armor, and a great horde armed with shields and swords. Persia. Now you guys know that's Iran, right? It wasn't that long ago they used to call themselves Persia. Actually, in my lifetime, they called themselves Persia. Now they call themselves Iran, but in the Ezekiel 38, verse 5, it says Persia, which is Iran, Ethiopia, which is the Sudan or Kush, which we translated black, so it could be the black Muslims, and Libya, which would be North Africa, will join you too with all their weapons. Gomer, which is Eastern Europe, that's translated Eastern Europe, that area, and all its armies will also join you along with the armies of Beth Togarmah, which is Armenia, from the distant north and many others. Verse 7, get ready, be prepared. Keep all the armies around you mobilized and take command of them. A long time from now, listen to this. This is important. Listen to this carefully. It says, a long time from now. That's from the time when they talked about it. So it didn't happen soon. Some people mistranslate that and think that it already happened. A long, long time from now, you will be called into action. In the distant future, again, it says it again. In the distant future, that means a long time from now. You will swoop down on the land of Israel, which will be enjoying peace after recovering from war and after its people have returned from many lands. Where is Israel? How'd they get there? They came from many lands, right? All over the earth. To the mountains of Israel, it says. They'll come from many lands. Now, back then, the distant future could be right now. And Israel has been gathering back in her land since 1948, when she was declared a state after over 2,000 years. Amen? Verse 9. You and all your allies, a vast and awesome army, will roll down on them like a storm and cover them like a cloud. Now I'm going to skip to verse 13 in the interest of time. Verse 13. But Sheba and Dedan, now that's translated people of the Arabian Peninsula. Notably, think about this, Saudi Arabia they're talking about. So now, Saudi Arabia, they will ask, do you really think the armies you have gathered can rob them of silver and gold? That's Israel. So Saudi Arabia is saying, do you think you can rob Israel of her gold and her silver? Do you think you can drive away their livestock and seize their goods which carry off plunder? And I'm also going to say, it also said the merchants of Tarshish. Now that is the area of Britain. And also, some people, this is debated over some churches, but some people think it could be the young lions of Tarshish, could be other colonies. And who's the most prominent colony of Britain? The United States. So it could be referring to the United States in a sideways way. So Saudi Arabia and United States. Now, aren't those the only two pretty much nations supporting Israel? Pretty much. And it says right here in Ezekiel, it says in the distant future. So none of these alignments happened until just recently. So this scripture starts to become alive when politically it matches Ezekiel 38 perfectly. Okay. And the merchants of Tarshish, which could be Britain, of which the U.S. is now the most prominent previous colony, will ask, do you really think the armies you've gathered against Israel can rob them of their silver and gold? Do you think you can drive away their livestock and seize their goods and carry off plunder? With a question mark. Now I'm going to go back to the news headlines, because it fits too. August 18th. Listen to this. Bin Laden's son. Remember Bin Laden? His son urges overthrow of Saudi rulers because they are supporting Israel. So they're upset. Anybody that's against Israel, they're upset with Saudi Arabia. So they're asking for people to do terror there. Verse 18. Back to the scriptures, verse 18. But this is what the sovereign Lord says. We're back in Ezekiel 38, verse 18. When Gog invades the land of Israel, that's the leader of Russia, my fury will boil over. In my jealousy and blazing anger, I promise a mighty shaking in the land of Israel on that day. All living things, the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, the animals of the field, the small animals that scurry along the ground, and all the people on earth will quake in terror at my presence. Mountains will be thrown down. Cliffs will crumble, walls will fall to the earth. Verse 21, I will summon the sword against you on all the hills of Israel, says the sovereign Lord. Your men will turn their swords against each other. Verse 22, I will punish you and your armies with disease and bloodshed. I will send torrential rain, hailstones, fire, and burning sulfur. In this way, I will show my greatness and holiness. I will make myself known to all the nations of the world. So when we see these things start to happen soon, we're going to know. They will know that I am the Lord. Ezekiel 39. The slaughter of Gog's hordes, son of man, prophesy against Gog, the leader of Russia. Give him this message from the sovereign Lord. I am your enemy, O Gog, ruler of the nations of Meshech and Tubal. I will turn you around and drive you toward the mountains of Israel, bringing you from the distant north. Now if you go from Israel, you go all the way north, distant way up there, where do you hit? Moscow. So they're talking about Russia. Verse 31, I will knock down you, or verse 3, I will knock the bow from your left hand and the arrows from your right hand. I will leave you helpless. Now when they said bow and arrows, they didn't know any other way to describe them. They probably saw missiles in this vision. The only way they can describe something like that back then was bows and arrows, because those are the weapons they had. And missiles do look kind of like arrows, right? So he says, I will knock the bow from your hand and the arrows from your right hand, right? I will leave you helpless. Now, if you guys have been here 2 years ago, this month, 2 years ago, I talked about this. Almost exactly 2 years ago in Israel, the news reported such an event. On August 5th, 2014, the hand of God sent a missile into the sea was the headline. You guys heard the Iron Dome? That's Israel's missile defense system. It's pretty much shoots 85-90% of any missile that comes near it. It shoots it down. Now the operator of that dome, the Iron Dome they call it, said, I witnessed this miracle with my own eyes. He saw the missile get pushed into the sea. It should have hit a major populated area, and he saw it moved. So God actually moved it. Verse 4. You and your army and your allies will all die on the mountains. I will feed you to the vultures and wild animals. You'll fall in the open fields, for I have spoken, says the sovereign Lord. And I will rain down fire on Magog and all your allies who live safely on the coasts. They will know that I am the Lord. Then the people in the towns of Israel will go out and pick up your small and your large shields, bows and arrows, javelins and spears, and they will use them for fuel. There will be enough to last them 7 years. You guys ever heard of wood burning for 7 years? From bows and arrows? No, I don't think so. They won't need to cut wood from the fields or forests, for these weapons will give them all the fuel they need. Now this could be from modern nuclear weapons, because wood does not burn 7 years. After 7 months, teams of men will be appointed to search the land for the skeletons to bury, so the land will be made clean again. Now in modern times, these teams will be called a hazmat team, right? And why would they wait 7 months to do this, right? If they were just spears and javelins, wouldn't they be able to go out right away and pick them up? They had to wait 7 months. In modern times, this would be called a hazmat team, and you wait 7 months because then the radiation level lowers enough for you to go into that land for a small, short periods of time, where it's safe to actually walk through after 7 months. Now the land's not inhabitable to live in again, but you'll be able to go in. They'll be able to send teams out to get rid of the weapons and use them for fuel. Verse 15. Whenever bones are found, a marker will be set up, so the burial crews, those hazmat teams, will take them to be buried in the valley of Gog's hordes. Or in like modern times, they'll take it to a radiation disposal site. And we have a strong idea that the Bible foretells nuclear war because in Japan, at the Hiroshima, the site of the first nuclear bomb was used, people's eyes and their tongues were instantly consumed, like the prophet Zechariah described when he prophesied what this would happen. In Zechariah 14:12, it says, And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. And their eyes shall consume away in the holes of their head. And their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Now think about it. What modern weapon consumes a person while they're still standing on their feet? Before their body can even hit the ground, they're consumed, right? Only nuclear weapons. No weapons back then could do that. It says that they'll rot before they even hit the ground. Only thing that can do that is nuclear radiation blast, right? Especially the newer bombs, the neutron bombs. They have like 80%, 70-80% more radiation, so your flesh just zaps away, just melts with these newer nuclear bombs that they've developed. That way the buildings don't fall. The people are just melted. It's terrible, the weapons they're coming up with. August 16th. Tensions escalate between China and Japan over disputed islands. On that same day, Japan military on alert to destroy North Korean missiles. On that same day, Russia's Putin offers Turkey's Erdogan closer ties. And we already covered that earlier. August 10th. Satanists are fighting for their right to sponsor after-school programs in states from California to Utah to Georgia. Sexual violence in Germany has reached epidemic proportions since Chancellor Angela Merkel allowed 1 million migrants into the country. So now their rape has increased exponentially because they've allowed 1 million migrants from Islamic countries into their lands. And they're doing that here. So we can look forward to seeing that here. We've got to pray against that in Jesus' almighty name. Texas baby confirmed to have died of a Zika-linked microcephaly. So there we go, the plagues again. We got Zika here in Texas. We got it in Florida now. Islamic State, ISIS, threatens to bomb Miss Universe pageant. August 11th. China province terminates Social Security for all practicing Christians. So if you're a Christian in China, they're not going to even give you Social Security. In Pakistan, a man murders his own two sisters only because they chose their own husbands and not the ones their parents chose for them. He murdered his own two sisters. I think that's a sign Jesus said. He said in Matthew 24:12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Now, I would say your love is waxed cold if you kill your own sisters just because they fell in love with someone and didn't marry the person their parents picked out for them. Okay, the Pentagon. Iran has improved ballistic missiles after the nuclear deal. So even though they made a deal to slow this stuff down because we gave them $400 million, they did it anyways. It's just, you don't make deals with terrorists. That's what we should stick to. Okay, a terrorist was apprehended in Canada. The Islamic State proudly takes credit for that. August 14th. Italy is on high alert for a suspected ISIS cell in Milan, Italy. That's the capital of Italy. U.S. nukes at Turkish airbase at risk of being seized by hostile forces. Better pray against that one. Okay, to get a glimpse of the future commerce in America, look no further than Sweden. The country is largely a cashless society, with consumers relying on mobile phone payments or plastic, and no cash is accepted. So they're already gone to totally cashless. You have to have a credit card or a mobile phone, and you can't even buy or sell. Just like Revelation said would happen on the earth. It's already happened in Sweden. And they're already starting to put chips in people over there, too, in addition to that. Revelation 13:17, it says, and that no man might buy or sell, save that he has the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Now, how do you buy stuff with credit, right? Credit card numbers. So you have to have a number to buy, just like it said in Revelation. Okay, on that same day, Russian warplanes bombed Syria from an Iranian base. Islamic State boiled 6 people accused of being spies while they were alive in tar. They boiled them alive in tar. 6 people till they were dead. August 17th. North Korea says it has resumed plutonium production for nuclear weapons. Okay, here's another one. The Pentagon says we're closer than ever to lasers that can stop Iranian and North Korean missiles. So we got a little good news. We're getting technology that with lasers that can stop their missiles. So let's hope they get that ready soon. We might need them soon. Okay, car bomb kills 3 people and wounds 170 people in eastern Turkey. So you hardly ever heard about Turkey, but now you're hearing a lot about it on the news. It's really ramping up over there. August 23rd, in Iraq, Nigeria, and now Turkey, they're using child bombers around 12, 13 years old to do suicide attacks. Little kids. People are sending their own little children to blow people up. It's just, the world's gone mad. Now Turkish tanks have rolled into Syria now. Just happened. To confront Islamic State. August 24th. Earthquake leaves 37 dead in central Italy. Well, guess what? I just looked on the news. Over 250 people now. This is an old headline. They just come out now. In Italy, 250 people are dead at least. And hundreds are missing because of the earthquake they just had. I think it was a 6.2 was the last I heard. Jesus also said in Luke 21:11 there will be great earthquakes in many places. Okay, another headline. North Korea submarine fires ballistic missile. Now they're testing ballistic missiles. And those are ones that they can use if they can miniaturize their nuclear weapons. A Muslim man stabs a British woman and a dog to death in an Australian hotel. And by the way, the man that was with her is in critical condition. So he killed a man, killed a woman and her dog, and the man that was with her, I'm not sure if it was her husband or not, but he's in critical condition. Now, August 25th, listen to this. Another Benghazi with a question mark. You guys hear about the newest Benghazi? It's not Benghazi, but it reminds me. At least 10 people killed after a gunman targets an American university in Afghanistan during a 10-hour assault. Another headline. Turkey threatens to intervene if American-backed Syrian Kurds don't withdraw. So now we got a proxy war against Russia and Syria. That sounds like Ezekiel 38, doesn't it? The enemies that are lined up in Ezekiel are happening. Okay, a British imam was beat to death with a hammer by Islamic State supporting Muslims because they don't agree with his version of Islam. Okay, the same day, August 25th, Russia's U.S. missile defense killing hypersonic rockets arriving soon. So that's another thing they're working on is hypersonic rockets to defend our missiles against. Because they're really upset that we got a missile shield so close to their border. Which, by the way, we actually broke the treaty we had with them to do that. So I don't blame them for being upset. We broke a treaty that we signed that we wouldn't do that, and we did it. So we're not perfect, definitely. August 26th, Iranian defense minister said we don't need to buy Russia's newer S-400 system as we can now rely on our own systems. Now, whether this is true, I don't know. They're not as technological as Russia, so they could be blowing hot air, but they're saying they don't need the new S-400 missile shield to defend against our missiles. They're saying that they already have the technology. Well, anyway, that concludes my news update. I'm just going to say a prayer. Lord, I pray you bless everyone that's come here and that hears this, Lord, and as we do a couple more songs, just bless the worship and bless the fellowship. And if we can get some prayer requests, that'd be great so we can pray for anybody's needs. We've got hundreds of people out there praying for you guys out here. And we just want people to come to know the Lord and, Lord, to take care of those needs that are out here, Lord. And I just pray in Jesus' almighty name that you get all the glory today for what you're doing out here in the park. Amen.